Well, welcome to another NAVSCAR broadcast. We're race number 10 in the Pro Series, race number 2 in the chase for the Pro Cup. Tonight we're racing from Talladega Super Speedway. Nice high bank track, lots of speed, lots of pack racing. Should be a lot of fun. Today I'm joined with my good friend here, Jamie Christensen. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, not too bad. Glad to be here. Excited, second race in the chase. We called it earlier and said that Talladega is kind of that wild card going in here. A lot of the leaders points leaders have found themselves in a kind of or they've had issues earlier on in the race and found themselves towards the front when the race ended. But I don't know if that's going to hold true here at Talladega. I think it's anybody's race.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's definitely one of the wild cards on the series. This race could go to anybody. Could be a chase racer, could be a non-chase racer. So we'll have to see how it goes. We just started qualifying here. I'm sure we're going to see some pack racing, trying to get some drafting speeds together.
Yeah, absolutely. And with open qualifying here, I don't know about you, but I'd like to be somewhere in the middle or towards the back here, so I can really utilize that draft to get a good lap time.
Yeah, I definitely want to be, a couple car lengths behind a pack as we cross that finish line to take the green, and just really spend the entire lap just sucking up to the car in front of you. And I think that's the car that's going to really set the pole. You definitely don't want to be leading the pack here.
Yeah, absolutely. And even during this open practice, they've got to play nice and understand how those cars are going to handle in the draft. You don't want to obviously ruin your qualifying lap here and then ruin someone else's on top of it.
Yeah, that's one of the good things, I guess, about how we got qualifying going on. You can really get out there and wreck your car during qualifying and get back out there in a new car and put up another lap. Now, that's something we've discussed changing going into next year. We'll have to see how that plays out for the next season.
Yeah, absolutely. So just kind of give a quick update on the track tonight. Obviously Talladega, 2.66 miles around the track with 33 degrees of banking. That's some pretty good banking there on. I don't know. Is that the equivalent to Daytona, Mike?
I think it's pretty close, if not identical. I'm not a Talladega expert by any means, but I know that the track is modeled after Daytona, a little bit wider, therefore it's a little bit longer, and then they move that start-finish line. Kind of really makes it different than Daytona. Changing that start-finish line from that little tri-oval to halfway to turn number 1 basically gives people a little bit more room to make some moves at the last lap.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like in regular NASCAR, Talladega is kind of known as Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s track. I'm kind of curious. We really haven't seen a really dominant driver here having multiple wins, consistent back-to-back wins. But we got a lot of drivers out in the field tonight that definitely want to make it theirs.
Yeah, you definitely spoke to juniors, winning a couple plate races this season, and they really kind of accredit that to Hendrick's power. That engine power is just allows you to drive to the front of the car or front of the pack and kind of lead that pack. And when he's got TJ, letting him know how to jump back and forth, he does that really well. Keeps the car out front and rides the bubble. But in iRacing it's a little bit different. We're all driving the same cars, no power difference, so it ends up being a little bit more of a crapshoot. But skill obviously has a lot to do with it. But you definitely want to stay out of any wrecks that might happen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of interesting too. We talked about where I'd mentioned Talladega being Junior's track, but just like in NASCAR, in our league, we're starting to see some personalities come out. You've got the guy in black. That's maybe not everybody's. Doesn't have a huge fan following. He kind of got a driver's favorite. Other drivers really respect that driver. We're kind of seeing that come out and a little bit here within the league as we go on. And this is, probably about the not counting preseason Thunder. We've had a couple seasons now where these guys have ran together, and I think we're starting to see some of those personalities come out. So I guess maybe when it comes to maybe the most aggressive, who do you think that one goes to?
Well, I think there's a couple aggressive drivers. I would say Josh is probably one of them. Number 2, Josh Buckley, extremely aggressive driver. He runs real hard. People tend to know that and give him a little bit of room. But when he's racing another aggressive driver, say, I could probably name a couple. Calvin Allison is pretty aggressive. Dustin can be kind of aggressive. There's a bunch of drivers out there that expect the other drivers to give them room. And when you get 2 drivers expecting the other driver to give you room, well, no room is given, and that makes for some interesting racing.
Yeah, absolutely. And when it comes to the driver, if you will, I think there's 2 of them in the field. Honestly, I think it's a toss-up between probably Mike Abbott and David Howard Jr. Those are the 2 guys that they're always cool. They're always even keel. They're fast drivers. They're hard to get around, and they always come with a lot of speed. So, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree almost wholeheartedly. I know David has let himself get into situations and get frustrated, but generally speaking, 90% of the time, he's one of the cleaner racers, and he's very talented, very quick. And Mike Abbott as well. I don't see him in the race tonight. I know Mike's been working hard and trying to get to these races, but it doesn't look like he's here tonight. But you're right, he's one of the coolest drivers out there. Another guy, Cowboy. Cowboy typically runs really clean and gets out there, but he can run hard too and get collected sometimes, and some other people's problem. But he's another stand-up driver. I think that said, though, I think everybody here is pretty respectful and pretty talented overall.
All right, so I gotta ask, because I saved the best for last. Maybe Brad Keselowski is known as the bad boy in NASCAR. Who's got that bad boy image right here in NAVSCAR?
Oh, you're totally loading that question up. I'm going to make you answer that one. I answer the other one first. Who do you think is this race's bad boy?
I don't know about this race, but I'm going to go with just in the league.
I got a couple drivers. Well, I think Josh definitely fits that boat. I think Nate LaFleur kind of can fit that boat. These are definitely some personalities that can get under people's skin. But I love that, man. I love seeing these guys get aggravated, get on the track, and it creates some rivalries, which it brings out great racing. So, as much as we kind of promote that kind of racing, in the end of the day, I think everyone is able to know that we're joking around and we're just we're having some fun, and maybe it takes 24 hours, but usually people can step back and say, I don't think anybody did anything on purpose. But that said, I think everybody here is pretty passionate.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna have to agree with you. I mean, I think maybe that label maybe goes to Josh, maybe. But I think the other one, when you said Nate LaFleur, Nate was on the list. I don't really count him as that. I look at Nate LaFleur as more of the Kevin Harvick or the maybe Joey Logano in just no, forget the Joey.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if Joey's a compliment or not.
Yeah, I'm not a Logano fan, but I think maybe of a Harvick. He's always consistent. I've seen that guy a lap down in more races and finish third in top 3 spot more times than I can count.
Yeah, for sure. He's generally there near the end, and he's pretty good at qualifying. Mind you, he goes through a ton of cars when he qualifies. He's definitely banged up a couple, and we might be changing the rules next season that prevents that from happening, so I'll be interested to see how he does next season. That said, we got 10 seconds left in qualifying. Right now, the first spot looks like it goes to Jeremy Patterson, second place David Howard Jr., third place Timothy Lewis, and fourth place William Long. Looks like those guys were all drafting together, so not surprising to see everybody bundled up. And that's going to be the checkered flag. Let's take the time quickly just to go and take a look at our top 25 standings for the league. Right now, we do have a 3-way tie for our chase racers, man. We got John Furshing Jr., David Howard Jr., and Nate LaFleur, all tied with 1,039 points in first place. I'm sure tonight's going to shake that up a bit.
Oh yeah, I don't, but honestly, who's got to have a good night is Josh Buckley. He took a points hit after last week, but he really needs a good finish here.
Yeah, he did lose four positions after that wreck last week. But you know what? He's really only 8 points back. It's not a big deal. I think, especially in a place like this, you can make up a bunch of those points. He's just got to remember to keep it clean, keep those incidents down, maybe lead some laps, do what he can to pick up some bonus points.
All right, well, looks like Patterson's able to hold on to it, and he's going to lead the field, and I believe get a bonus point for that even.
Yeah, and that said, he's leading the non-chase racers for that secondary money prize. So that bonus point is going to help him as we come to the end of the season here.
Well, they're gridding up, and that kind of brings us to our normal point in the race where we choose our drivers. You want to go first, or you want me to?
I'll take it first. This is a tough one, man. This one can go to really anybody on the track. I'm going to. I think I'm going to have to go with. Oh man. Okay, part of me wants to pick Dustin, but Dustin's had some bad luck in this track lately. I know he's really strong here, but can end up getting taken out. So I'm going to go with the smartest driver I know here that usually plays it cool, tries to hang back, and I'm going to go with the number 4, Ricky Goodman.
Wow, I did not see that one coming. But we've seen Ricky win at Monza. Obviously not the same track as the Talladega, but great pick. He's definitely he knows his way around the track here. I'm gonna go with David Howard Jr. That's who I'm going with tonight.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that pick for sure. I just think it's really anyone's race here, so we'll see how it goes. Cars are on the starting grid. Looks like they're going to pull off right here. Let's take that opportunity. We'll go through the starting grid. On row number 1, bringing the field to the green flag, we got Jeremy Patterson. Row number 2, we got David Howard Jr. Sorry, outside row number 1, we got David Howard Jr.
Yep. Row 2, Timothy Lewis and William Long.
Row number 3, inside we got Nate LaFleur, and on the outside we got John Furshing Jr.
Row 4, we got Josh Buckley and Dale Albright.
Row number 5, we got Andrew Packer and Jordan Beck.
Row number 6, Ricky Goodman, your pick, and Butch Frazier.
Row number 7, we got Kevin O'Brien and James Skelton.
Row number 8, Dustin Phillips and Jonas Hankins.
Row number 9, we got Keith Haney and James Haney.
And rounding out the field, we got Dan Haney. So the Haney starting in the back this evening.
Yeah, maybe that was planned. It's really nice to know that you have a dancing partner really close to you under these starts. So maybe that was by design.
Yeah, I don't know. If you're gonna have people around you, you definitely would. It's not bad having family.
Oh well, I guess that's debatable. Is it worse if you're taken out by a cousin or a brother or a son?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Because not only do you have to deal with them in the race, you probably have to deal with them afterwards, seeing them at the family get-together or something.
All right, looks like car's going to that pit car is going to jump in. Now it's a little bit different here, like we were saying. There's such a long stretch here. Now as the pace car jumps in, Jeremy's got to keep his pace as we enter through that tri-oval, and he's not going to get that green flag until almost pit exit. And there we go. They're off.
Yeah, a lot of 2x2 action there, and I think we got some cars pushing on the outside, trying to make that outside line work. I don't know if we're going to see what we've seen in the past. what they want to do is get single file and really spread that field out and make everybody sit in a row. But
yeah, you know, it's easy for us to say that's the smartest thing to do, just to kind of race around the bottom and keep it clean. But as a race car driver, man, if you feel like you're running up on the guy ahead of you, it's really unnatural to take your foot off the gas. You kind of want to just jump around. As we see the 911 push 907, looks like they're going to get a good run here, could challenge for that lead.
Yeah, Bill Long just pushing the heck out of David Howard Jr. there, and David Howard's going to go right to the front, puts his car out in front of Patterson. I think Bill Long wanted to, was hoping he'd come up there and.
I was going to say that's, you know, he's lucky he's got another car behind him. It's never a nice feeling when you push someone to the front and they jump down before you're clear.
Yeah, that definitely makes it interesting. But it looks like Bill Long's got the support there from, was it John Pershing? John Pershing Jr.? So.
Yeah, he's right behind him. Now, we didn't really talk about it, but, you know, water temps, oil temps could be really big here. Got to kind of keep that engine cool. We got 94 laps. If you're going to push really hard, you don't want your gauges flashing this early. It's really early in the race. If you even flash those gauges once, you're going to lose some horsepower, and you don't want that this early off.
Yeah, I hear you. And, you know, when you're looking, you know, at the car in front of you and the car behind you all the time, a lot of times the gauges get ignored, and at no fault of the driver, or not intentionally, they end up blowing up just because they're not watching their gauges close enough. So.
Right now we're riding on board with the 938 of Jeremy Patterson. You can see on the outside, these guys are running like bumper to bumper. They're almost touching right there as the 915 pushes the 911 and tries to get a run. Looks like the two of Josh Buckley has joined that train.
Yeah, and I seen Patterson kind of jumping in and out of traffic there. I think they're all trying to get a little bit of air on the, you know, on the front end of that car, not only for handling, but just to cool it down a little bit.
Now, there's a lot of room here. It's really easy to run too wide, as long as you give each other room. Sometimes that middle lane can kind of get that bottom lane real tight on the ground, and that's when you really see some incidents there. But if you guys keep it nice, usually you can run 2-3 wide. It looks like they're changing because of oil temps there.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Bill Long really takes that outside line. You know, he gets picked up here, it looks like, by Kevin O'Brien, I believe. So hopefully they'll be able to just fall back in line there. But I was kind of surprised to see Long move that far out.
Yeah, well, John was complaining about heat, and I think you know, we talked about it. It's really important to keep that car cool. So as soon as John said, "I'm getting real hot," he kind of just said, "I'll get out of your way," and he stepped aside. He's got to be careful though. When you just step out by yourself and you go up to the high line like that, it'd be super easy, as he's almost lost the whole group. Super easy to lose the draft if you're not careful.
I notice somebody is running the 29 Yeti car. That's an interesting thing to see.
Oh, we got a wreck as Nate goes flying. Wow, bounced off the wall there.
Yeah, Nate, that was my fault. I got in the back of back and it pushed me down there.
Oh no, did he get some help?
It's possible. Looks like we heard a little bit of radio chatter there.
Yeah, you're good. I don't know why there isn't a caution. I'm parking the other side with a blown motor. Yeah, that is odd. They'll probably come when we get back if you haven't towed yet.
I'm just taking another quick look at it here real quick.
Sorry, I just had to take a second to turn off my in-game radio there. I didn't want anything going over the broadcast that maybe shouldn't, so turn that off.
Yeah, it was a 29 the Yeti car with Dustin Phillips got into the 981 of Nate LaFleur there.
Yeah, he said he kind of bounced off somebody and you know, wasn't intentional. He apologized for it real quick, and it's unfortunate that Nate did not get a caution, so it's going to possibly ruin his race here.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell on the replay. Just maybe a spotter was telling him something other than what he was seeing. I don't know. Look. So I believe Nate LaFleur is coming back out on the track, and looks like he's got squared away there. But as we see the pack come around him.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. By himself, he's already down 2 laps, it looks like, and it's going to be tough for him to get up to speed here.
Yeah, but I don't think he's that worried about it. You know, you called it. There's 100 laps. You know, not anymore, but the race is 100 laps. We're at the very beginning. I don't think...
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we're going to get a caution, and, you know, considering he's the only one a lap down, he'll get that back, and he's got his car fixed, so he's definitely not out of it by any means.
So from a historical standpoint, when we've been here at Talladega, though, we have ran a race with these guys with no cautions.
Yeah, you know, that might have been, it was a different vehicle, the drafting was a little bit different, there wasn't as much pack racing. Like right now, we got a lot of pack racing going on, and I think back then it was more of a tandem deal. It was like 3, 4, 5 cars in a pack, and it's a different dynamic, so we'll see how tonight goes.
Yeah, it looks like LaFleur in the back has been able to catch up with Bill Long. Bill Long was, you know, ever since he went to that high side, he's just kind of been hanging out at the back. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. But,
Well, other than that one incident, you know, we're 10 laps in, and like, these guys are still basically one pack.
yeah, Buckley, you know, has moved up to first position. We're talking about how he needed a good race as we see the 915 of John Furshing Jr. just get a little bit on his inside, and you got to always worry about that, because if in a corner when the car that's in front of you is just a little bit higher, we've seen too many times it disturb that car in front of him and end up spinning him, and you definitely don't want to spin the leader here. It's John Furshing Jr. It's all over the back of Josh Buckley there.
Well, they see that outside line's moving really well, and he's going to do what he can to keep that bottom line moving as the 29 pushes the 904 basically to the lead here. 904 of Jordan Beck is going to cross that line and get that bonus point for leading a lap.
Yeah, definitely making the outside work. A lot of guys up there. And we see the right behind them on the outside line, we've got the 3 Haneys running single file there. So again, they're working together. Everybody knows that they can't do it by themselves. So if you want to get to the front, you're going to definitely have to do it in a pack.
Yeah, I think all these guys know that, you know, the way that the cars are running right now is probably not the way that the cars are going to finish the race. We're at lap 11, so you know, we got Ricky Goodman hanging on the back of the pack, but he's got the draft, so we're going to get some green flag laps here. It's going to separate these cars. We're going to have different running order as we get back on the track. It should be interesting when these guys start ducking in. We're on lap 12 right now.
Yeah, so did you hear anybody call out the fuel run at all?
I didn't, but, you know, it's been a while since I've been in these cars. If I recall correctly, we're thinking 18, 19, possibly 20 laps, or am I way off? It might be 16.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's 16 actually, but we'll have to wait and see. Plus, I think some of these guys are going to want to be in a little bit different fuel strategy. We always see a group stay out and try to get that extra lap in.
Yep. I always felt that if you had a core group of like 3 or 4 guys, and if you could stay within your window, so not add any extra, you know, pit stops, if you can jump in early and then get back out as hard as you can, get some clean airs where you're not in a pack like this, and just run 4 in a row and turn off some really quick laps, you'll end up gapping these guys as they come down to pit. So there's definitely some different strategies that'll play out here.
Yeah, big run here on the 904 and with the 29 of Dustin Phillips as they charge to the lead on the outside there.
Now we'll see here what Dustin does. Is Dustin going to drop down? The 904 does drop down, and Dustin, realizes he's got a key player behind him. Looks like he stays up high as Dustin comes back up, or the 904 comes back up. That was a mistake there, and it looks like he's going to get hung in the middle now because of it.
Yeah, he's definitely stuck in the middle, and there's only one direction there, and that's back.
Yeah, I think he realized as he dropped down that maybe he shouldn't have, and he tried to come back out, but looked like it was too late at that point. Now he's just along for the ride here. He's got to keep it real smooth and stay in that middle lane, and let's hopefully we don't cause an accident here. But him being in the center has really slowed up that outside line as it drops back with him here.
Yeah, and I think the 29 was pretty happy pushing there, and they were working well together. I was kind of curious as to whether or not they were just trying to hold that line up enough to let him get back in line, but looks like Jordan's going to go into that lower line and pick up the draft there.
Yeah, no harm, no foul. He's still, he just shuffled back a couple spots, but that's going to happen more than once tonight, I think.
So Dustin's trying to manage traffic here as he's going to go 3 wide into the corner. Looks like Jonas is able to just rejoin the higher line instead of running that real high third.
Yeah, I don't think by yourself you can drive around 4 cars on the outside unless you get like a super crazy run, but that would be a tough thing to do by yourself. As looks like John Fershing really pushing the 2 car here really hard into the corner.
Now, it'll be interesting. I did pick David Howard Jr., but, when we've talked to him in the past, he's talked about his teammates. And I don't see too many of them out there. I don't believe Tim Lewis is in the race this evening.
You're right. I don't see him here. I thought I saw him earlier today. Oh, he is in. He's in 9th place right now.
Okay. So maybe he can hook up with his teammate, and Tim's fast here too. And to be honest with you, Tim has really been stepping up his game here lately. He's for a while there he was kind of mid-pack, and more I keep seeing Tim Lewis, towards the front, running competitively, got good speed in the car, and I think he may be one to watch here coming up.
Yeah, for sure. Right now he's happy with running around. We're riding on board with him. He's in that lower line, just behind Jeremy. He races with Jeremy as well over at that league, so I'm sure he's looking to just kind of get some laps under his belt here and make sure he's in position to win it all at the end.
We always talk about it too, as the 2 and the 29 find themselves side by side and almost look like they touched there a little bit. But we're always talking a little bit about fixed setups, because that's what we're running here tonight. We got cool temperatures, but the things that the guys can modify on the car and they work on is the steering ratio and the steering offset. So, it's interesting to hear some people like a lower, they want the more responsive setup. But I know quite a few of them actually go with a 14-to-1, 16-to-1 type setup because they want the car to just settle in the corner. They don't want it moving around, and so it'll be interesting because if you get 2 cars that were set up differently, and the drivers prefer 2 different styles, it doesn't make for the best drafting.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and I think I prefer a high ratio here, a 15-to-1, 14-to-1, like in that number range. And that just really allows you to push or get behind a car and keep the car stable without, really moving that wheel back and forth. Now it does have its downsides, of course. If you got a really big push on behind you and you run really hard in the corner and you gotta turn the wheel so much more to keep it down on the line or wreck avoidance or anything like that. It's a little bit more difficult with that high ratio, but I think just having a smooth car and being able to push people or be pushed and be smooth is key.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I see the 29 up front, like I've mentioned it before, he's running that Yeti car. I just really want to ask him if the Yeti cooler really keeps it colder. I don't know.
Let's see if I can get a nice, good, close shot of this paint scheme here. It is a very nice paint scheme. Look at that. We got him front and center. Dustin Phillips over the door there, and he's looking good running out front. He loves these super speedway races. I wish I was out there pushing them because we used to hook up all the time. You were part of that little group. We used to do pretty well on these tracks.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I was almost wanting to get in the car myself this evening because I definitely enjoy these as well. It always comes down to fuel strategy, and when you got guys that can run well together, you're hard to beat, quite honestly.
Well, and I was talking with him before the race, and I was saying, you know, our touring series is going to be finishing up here in a couple weeks. I think maybe time to go do a super speedway series again. We haven't done one in a couple months.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely be racing Sunday nights if we do that. So we're on lap 20, Jamie, and they haven't come in yet, so just saying.
All right, so we're both wrong.
Like, makes me wonder if I set it up properly.
Well, I'll assume that you did, and I would expect them to be coming into pit road here in the next few laps. I would expect the majority of the drivers to take no tires. I think it'll be interesting because we do have a quick repair this evening. As looks like we see them come in. This could be interesting because there's a lot of them. We've got drivers going all over the place. Looks like that 986 is going to probably benefit out of all of this, as it looked like the 29 was trying to keep the two behind him a little bit there.
Yeah, we definitely got a line of cars, but they all make it in smoothly. 29's in his pit box. I think you're right. I don't think we see any tires here, at least from the veteran guys. Someone just drove right through, did not stop, which is interesting.
Ooh, that could have been a pretty critical error there.
Yeah, nobody looks like they took any tires. Everyone's back on the track. Real quick stops there.
That was James Skeleton that went through pit road, and it'll be interesting. We'll have to see if he comes back in or if he even runs out of gas.
Well, I think he's got enough to go one more. There were a bunch of drivers that stayed out, so he could probably get around one more time. But yeah, it's definitely a misstep there.
Yeah, I see flames coming out of that car like it's not running like it should be, though. He's way slower than what I would expect him to be, but it looks like he's going to get back into pit road, I believe.
Yeah, he's running 2,900 RPM. It's slowing down 2,800 RPM, so it's running. If it was out, I would assume he'd have his clutch in. But you're right, he's now on pit road there, and I'm sure he'll get everything straightened out and get back out there.
So it will definitely be interesting to hear what James was thinking on that one. I don't know if he just didn't see his pit stall or got blocked and if somebody was below him and couldn't get in there, but that could prove to be devastating.
Yeah, why don't you go and see if I think he's in team speak there. Go have a quick chat. With that, after that set of cautions, we got Joshua Buckley out front, John Furshing second, Dustin Phillips third, and Jonas Hankins in fourth. Now, Dustin runs with a bunch of drivers. He's very familiar with a bunch of different guys on the track. I don't think any of these four drivers are really going to work with Dustin, though. So he's going to have to hold on here, and hopefully some of his teammates can get up there and push him. He's going to be really hard-pressed to work his way to the front.
Yeah, so I just checked in with James. He just said that he missed that pit stall. So just an oversight on his part. He's gonna, his car's clean, it's running good. So I think he's just gonna be looking for the next caution or opportunity to get caught up with the field and get back in it. So
yeah, it's a tough thing sometimes to remember, especially in these races. You don't choose your pit stall. Your pit stall is chosen for you based on your qualifying order, and you can just forget where you are, and it's sometimes hard to see that flag man standing out there, and especially when you have 20 drivers, you got all the flags, all the signs up and down pit road. It can be a little bit of a challenge, but he's the first one to lap down, so we get a caution. He's going to get his lap back, and he'll be back in it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Raymond Edge has joined us in the booth as a guest commentator for just temporarily. So Raymond, how's it going this evening?
Fun.
What do you think of the first 20 laps there, man? There was some good pack racing going on. I love seeing these guys juking it out back and forth.
Oh yeah, that was fun. I'm kind of doing spotter duty. I'm playing TJ Mayners tonight. Just trying to keep everybody, in their spot so it looks like some good racing.
I was going to say, were you Dustin's spotter there? Did you clear them well?
Yes, I did clear them well.
Nice. Well, right now I've just noticed that Dustin, I was saying on the broadcast before Jamie got back, but he's holding his own up in that top 4. But if I'm mistaken, he doesn't really have a teammate up there, so he's going to be hoping that someone, another group, kind of pushes their way to the front, can join him.
Yeah, him and James, I think we're going to be trying their best to work together tonight, and they were doing really good in practice. And they, you know how pit goes here. Everybody called out. They said the bottom line was going to go one lap before everybody did, and everybody got shuffled out. So whoever's on the high line was screwed. But everybody come in all at the same time, and I have to give kudos to those guys. That is the biggest pack coming on pit road that did not wreck I've ever seen. So that was just awesome to watch.
Yeah, they did a great job. And just looking at the lap times right now, that second group of cars, last lap they were faster than the first group. Now this time they're a little bit slower because they've kind of gotten side by side. That's really not what you want to do here as you're trying to catch the leaders. But if they get in line and be mindful and start pushing, they could catch those guys. They're only 5 seconds back, and you can make up almost a half a second a lap here if you guys get in line.
Oh yeah, easily done. Early stages, they're just going to ride, I bet you, for now. Get to the next pit stop, fuel up, and see what's going to go on. I'm sure everybody just took fuel right there anyway. So
yeah, we didn't see any tire changes, and I don't expect to see any all race. I know 94 laps. As long as you're careful getting in and out of pit road, you can really go on no tires.
Yeah, I mean, you could actually take 2 tires in the time it takes to fuel up the car.
Yeah, that's true as well. Good point.
You could do 2 rights the first time, 2 lefts the second time, and absolutely nothing, the rest of the race. So I don't know how it's going to play out, different scenarios they've talked about tonight. So we'll see.
Yeah, so Raymond, you're spotting for those guys. We got a question in the chat room as to we did a zoom in on that Yeti Cooler 29 of Dustin Phillips out there. Just somebody wanted to know, was that a North Carolina flag on that Yeti Cooler, or was that a Texas flag? Do you know?
That's most likely North Carolina. That's where the 29 is from.
Yeah, that's what I was assuming, and that's what I responded back. But I just wanted to check. Maybe you know.
I can take a quick look at it here, but I'm sure it's North Carolina.
Dustin is from North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah, look at that right there by his name. I got it nice right on the broadcast there. That is definitely a North Carolina flag. Kind of cut up there because he, just the way that the paint is, it's kind of cut. The top's cut off, but man, it's a good-looking car.
Yeah, that's a new one. I haven't seen that one yet. Him driving that one around. There's a bunch of new ones in tonight. I like William Long's Sony car. He was running in the Minions car, I think, in Indy in the last couple of races. I love the Minions.
Yeah, everyone loves the Minions.
Yeah, the Minions are great until you get the 3-story inflatable one
that roll across the road.
Yes.
Yep.
So that second pack, they've developed a nice little pack there. They're turning some quick times. They have closed the gap down to 4.3 seconds. They were at 5.5 last time we mentioned it. So they keep running things like it is. They're going to be catching them. And really, all it takes is, the car's second in line of a group. If they're pushing, then you're going fast. If that car second in line is pushing that first car, everybody behind them is going to benefit. The only caveat to that is you got to watch your temps.
Yeah,
yep,
speaking of temps, Raymond, has anybody complained about the temps and running so close?
I heard a little bit earlier. I think Dustin got a little hot for a second, but he manages his temperature so well when he's pushing. So I don't think it's really going to be an issue until later on in the race when everybody's just bumper to bumper. Right now they're just riding along.
Yeah, riding along right now is what we're doing with Ricky Goodman. Just, he's in that second pack. You can see out of the front of his window, right there in the distance, he can see those 4, that pack of 4 leading it. And I'll tell you, when you when you're in a second pack and you can see that pack out your window, man, it just it encourages you to drive faster. As looks like we have a blow up.
Yep. Looks like he just blew up. It's a 907, wasn't it?
Yep, I would say that was.
Well, don't tell him that I picked him.
Yeah, right.
Wow, Butch with the big strong move right there.
But he'll be able to get that car hopefully repaired here, as he lucked out on timing. He was kind of just entering the pits as it blew up. You could see the smoke pouring off that car. He's getting his tires changed. He should get a quick reset, and yeah, it looks like the smoke stops billowing out of that car, and he'll get it back on track.
All right, well, I better get back with these guys. It's getting a little antsy now, so hopefully I can call that door bumper clear like I've been telling them I've wanted to do all day.
Yeah, have a good one, man.
All right, guys, catch y'all later.
So that's kind of surprises me that David Howard Jr. finds himself with the car blowing up there. He must have been so engaged into what he was doing there, you didn't recognize that the car was about ready to blow.
Yeah, it can happen. Well, I could say it can happen pretty quick, but if it blew up, man, it must have been flashing for at least a lap. As we say that, it looks like Busch's got a huge run on that pack, and they're going to drive out the outside. Well, they would have if the 914 had followed Butch, but Butch is going to come to a halt there and probably end up losing all those positions he just gained unless someone lets him in here.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to get some company up there because your only option is the side draft. That I'm not sure if I want a side draft with Josh Buckley right now.
No, I think you're right. I think it's a little bit too early to start playing any of those games. You can definitely slow a car down if you're on his rear quarter and you just throw some extra air onto that spoiler. The way it works is that air bounces off the front of your car and just ricochets onto that spoiler. It kind of like grabs a hook and just pulls them back towards you. You can definitely do that, but you got to get right up to that car.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see if that 29 doesn't jump to that high line if given the opportunity. I'm not sure how content he is with running that low line.
Well, I'm sure now that he's got some options for some players that might actually get behind him and push, he'll be making some moves.
Yeah, absolutely, and we see Jonas going trying to push. Who is that?
That is Butch Frazier. Yeah, he's pushing him pretty hard on the outside. He looked like he was going to make it to first, but he's got about half a car length between those two cars, and as you can see, first and second are tight on each other. And when those cars, on the yellow line are pushing like that, it's very hard to get around them. As we say that, he's got, there you go, that's two pushes going on right there as they enter the corner. Now, is Butch going to get clear and drop down? Looks like he won't get clear this turn as the inside line is going to move back up front.
True, but, I think he's going to be able to carry some speed coming out of the corner here. I think the run to the start-finish line, I'll be interested to see if he's able to take that first position.
Yeah, it looks like Jonas kind of pulled back a little bit. You're right, though. If Jonas was pushing there, exiting 4, it's easy. And you know what? That's really where I want to be as I come to a finish of this race. Is I want to have a good pusher behind me, coming out of 4 with a good head of steam. And especially here, you have such a long front straight, and you have the opportunity to kind of just drive around the cars coming to a checkered flag.
Yeah, it looks like Jonas is just hanging on the outside there, keeping the engine cool. I think that's why we didn't see the big push come across the start-finish line, as Jonas again goes way wide, and as Butch just puts that car in front of Josh Buckley to take the P1 position here.
Yeah, there was no room to spare on that one, man. I had a perfect lined up on the camera, and that was right across the bumper. Nice clean move there. It's got him leading some laps now.
Yeah, absolutely, and that makes it interesting. And whether he intended to or not, that probably threw Josh off a little bit to see him come across his hood like that. I don't know if Josh had to check up or anything, but when you're kind of running, out front, and you really don't think you have too much to worry about, and then all of a sudden the car comes across the front like that, that really upsets your game a little bit. And so, I don't know if are we seeing a little mind games going on here?
We could be, for sure. Josh is not the type of guy that's going to check up, so I didn't see that car, lose any ground whatsoever. So he kept in it, which is It's pretty crazy when you think about it, man. It's tough to do when a car is that close. You're like, this ain't going to be good, but let's commit. And, you know, it worked out for everybody there. So.
Yeah, I'm not. It would have been interesting to see what that would have looked like with 2 to go.
Oh, yeah, right. My calculation has us about 4 laps away from another stop here, so we'll see what these guys do.
So, Mike, we got a comment there in the chat room that you know, from Spartan X. He's saying he says, "Hey guys, I followed because I love the stream you guys make, and it's so realistic. Keep it up." So we appreciate that kind of comment, and we enjoy putting these broadcasts on to you know, not only bring the action to the viewers, but then also for the drivers as well. They'll go back and check out the replay and kind of see how they did and see the commentary along with it. So thanks again for the comment.
Yeah, I love hearing that, and all I can say is, man, if you like what you see today, we got lots of plans for next season. Next season will start out sometime. We'll take September off, but sometime in October, and should have a new set of overlays with some new features and some new segments that we hopefully will make things you know, entertaining for viewers and the drivers when they go back to it. I really enjoy putting on a nice production for everybody, and we love having the guys come out and watch it. So keep it up.
Yeah, as we see the 29 now on the outside getting pushed by that 986. I believe that's James Skelton. Is it not?
The 980. You're right. It is Skelton. He's back. He's a lap down, but he's hooked up with Dustin, and that's what Dustin needs right now.
That got crazy. James wanted to come down. Butch was there. Good thing his spotter told him not to do it.
And maybe James knew that's what he was doing. He's just I'm gonna push Dustin to the front, and then maybe drop back as I'm a lap down. But he needs to be mindful right now. There's 3 cars, 1 lap down. James, Jordan, and David are all. Sorry, 2 cars, 1 lap down. James and Jordan, and he's going to want to make sure that he's going to make sure he's in front of the 904 car. And right now, if I'm 904, which is right behind James, I want to get around him. As everybody drops in here.
Yeah, seeing a group come in.
So we got the 2, the 90, the 915, the 914, and the 938. These guys all run together. Let's see what they do here. Well, I wonder if we'll see anybody take 2.
I don't think they can afford to, honestly. I think it's got to be gas and go.
Yeah, no cars moving up. It's just gas. They're filled up, and the 2 is back, and they're going to roll out together here. Nice clean stop for everybody, and that's key, is you got to stay together. A group of 4 is great. Keeps everybody together, and you guys can they can draft on their outlap here. Wonder if we're going to see some cars kind of jump in as we yeah, look at that. We got some more cars jumping into pit road here. Got the Haney brothers, the 4 of Ricky Goodman, and the 994 of Kevin O'Brien.
Yeah, so definitely everybody's on a little bit of different pit strategy here.
Looks like the one of those cars missed his box there. Just kind of, that's going to hurt him. The 927. He's not going to have a great stop there. These guys are going to get away before him, and he's going to lose them from the draft. That's unfortunate, but part of pitting.
Well, at least he didn't pull a Kozlowski and hit his jackman and
tire
carrier.
We did have a lot of incidents on pit road over the weekend. We had 2 cars go into the pit wall, and a couple crew members hit.
So you were at that race. Were you able to see that action firsthand, or?
It's actually funny. We were down in the pit about 10 minutes before it happened. We moved up to our seats and watched it. Yeah, I watched it come in. It's a scary sight. Watching a car get loose off a 4 like that, especially at Pocono, because you got that pit wall, and that's really what caused these cars, you know, going down pit road, is because they turn hard left when they get loose because they don't want to run dead straight into that wall, and then they overcorrect to try to go down the road, and you know, the wall on pit road did its job. There was no injuries. No one was even close to getting hurt, really. But it's just scary when you see a car at high speed hitting that wall twice in one weekend.
Yeah. And I can't imagine that they're going to put a safer barrier on that inside wall.
No, they can't do that for sure. But there is definitely talks about, there's a couple things they can do to kind of get teams out of that. The worst case scenario is there's a car in that pit box and something like that happens, and it's really bad. But so they're talking possibly, maybe moving the pits closer to turn 1 and moving the rear stalls away from turn 4 and try and free up that space so there's no cars pitting there.
Yeah, I'd heard them also I had heard one driver also requesting that the pit road wall be extended further out towards turn 4. That too was kind of dangerous. But
Yeah.
That was one of the suggestions that came in. So I guess everybody's got an opinion, they say. So
yeah, there's a lot of things that that make it better, and there's a lot of things that can make it worse. And they just gotta, they can't make any rash decisions based on the couple incidents that happened this weekend. But NASCAR's got some great engineers, and they'll look at it and analyze those wrecks. They were identical, like literally identical. The way that they got loose off of turn 4, literally followed the tire marks. And everything. Casey Kane it was like a replay of that first incident. The only reason Casey actually went farther down the pit road because he did save the car a little bit better than the first wreck with, I forget who it was, but and he just ended up going farther down pit road. But again, nobody was hurt, so you gotta, knock on wood and move on.
yeah, and so we got that second group catching up to the first one here. Now we've got a full field all running really close together, which makes for some really interesting racing as we kind of see drivers trying to pick a lane, and it's getting a little chaotic out there.
And yeah,
no caution.
Let's see if we can take a replay at that. No caution here, but let's take a look and see if we can see what happened.
Oh, we got caution. Caution is out.
Oh, we have an actual caution. As I was looking at the replay, it looks like James Haney just kind of bounced off of Butch and came down. That's what caused that first one. Let's see if we can see what happened this time around. Oh, a lot of cars off track here, so...
Yeah, it looked like Keith Haney, our leader, is looks like he's got some significant damage there. And it looks like just Keith Haney just gets loose, and it starts the, I don't want to say the big one. We've got about 3 or 4 cars involved in here. I know Dustin Phillips and the Yeti car was in there, Keith Haney and the 994, so never a good thing, but looks like they're going to have to come in and use those quick repairs.
We just got a replay. We're watching it right now at the point of that first crash. Looks like we can see here, we got 3 wide up front. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, just pushing real hard up front, and the Haneys kind of lost it on their own there and took out some of the rest of the people. That just happens in pack racing. You got to be really comfortable pushing, especially as the lead car. It can upset the car pretty easily. So you got to be comfortable with it.
Yeah, but I think in that replay we seen the 986 of James Skelton kind of just have him and not intentionally, of course. I mean, I think it was just enough to disturb the car, and as a result, we're under caution. So,
yeah, sorry, was James pushing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's not good for him because he was involved in the incident, but he was the first car a lap down. So I don't believe he's going to get a lucky dog out of this either. So
You're correct. Yeah, because he has that incident, he will not get a lucky dog, which is unfortunate because I believe it just removes the lucky dog. I don't think anybody will get it.
well, I am only showing 2 cars a lap down, and that's Nate LaFleur and James Haney. I will have to see what it looks like after it all sorts out here.
All right, let's take this quick time. We're going to show you just a quick slide. Remind everybody, check out our website, NAVSCAR.com. You can go there. You can see all of our point standings for both leagues, our seasons, our schedules. There is an application window there as well. If you like what you see and you want to join us at NAVSCAR, you can fill out an application there. Just keep in mind we are not accepting new applications for the end of this season. We got 2 more races after tonight, and then we got about a month of our just off. But we do races. We won't broadcast during that time, but we will start opening up applications at that point. So check out our website if you're interested and you want to join us. There's some requirements that you have to follow to join us, some rules, and you have to have a certain license level and all that jazz. But you can find out all the information there. And never hurts to reach out to one of us if you have any questions. Our information, I think you can find it on the website. If not, you can email me at m.fair@navscar.com, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. While you're doing that, check out our sister league, redlightleague.com. They run a series on Mondays, same kind of feel as us. They have a broadcast in. One of our racers, Jeremy Patterson, is the owner of that league, and he does a lot of the broadcasts and overlays and stuff as well. And they do a great job over there Monday nights. So if you want to see some racing there, check them out. Like I said, they race Monday nights, and you have some fun with that. Any comments on our 2 leagues there, Jamie?
Yeah, absolutely. I run over in Red Light because I'm broadcasting over in this one, and a great set of guys over there that we've ran together now for a while, and I'm probably one of the newer ones to that league. So that gives you some ideas to the membership over there and the quality of drivers. There's some really good quality drivers over in that league as well, and with both leagues. Kind of running a similar schedule, some of the similar setups like we talked about. Everybody gets a full a full dose of their iRacing for the week. So
Yeah, I do like the fact that the way we run it kind of gives opportunity. Like some people want to race more than once a week, and they have an opportunity to have a matching experience at both leagues. And we kind of share a Sunday series. We do have a series on Sunday right now. Actually, I'll pull that slide up as well. Right now, we're running a tuning series. Basically, we're running the street stocks, open setups, kind of wrenching and racing. 2-hour practices to kind of learn how to adjust your cars and build setups, and that runs Sunday nights. It is closed to both league members, so you have to be a member of one of the leagues to race in it, but it's kind of a joint venture, and guys are having a lot of fun with it. So that ends August 23rd, and then we're going to start something else up for Sundays. We like to just have fun with that series, and we've been known to do some road racing and some super speedway racing and short tracks. We kind of mix it up, but it's a ton of fun.
yeah, absolutely. And some of these guys, not only do they take the iRacing seriously and probably to a new level, but some of these guys are running some pretty cool rigs in how they do their racing. So we've talked about Patterson running the Oculus. We've talked about David Howard Jr. running the 3-monitor setup with the whole David Spears Designs
Nice, yep.
button box, and some of these guys take it to the whole nother level. The the butt shaker?
Yep, the kickers. Yep, those are cool too.
Yeah, the kickers. Yeah, these guys aren't messing around.
No, a lot of different. That's the one cool thing about iRacing and just racing simulations in general. You can get in pretty cheap. You could probably get a wheel for around $200-$250, and you can go up from there. You can build $1,000 rig. You can spend $600 on a wheel alone. I was at the race on the weekend and ran into TJ Majors, which is the spotter of Dale Jr. And I got to talking with him about his iRacing setup and asked him what kind of wheel he runs and what he recommends. And he runs the Club Sport wheel, the Fanatic Club Sport wheel, and he says he loves it. He went from a G27 up to that when he upgraded his rig, and he swears by it. So it's kind of cool that we got some advice from a guy who knows what he's talking about when it comes to the real world of racing.
Well, real world, but he got his start there with Dale Jr. and running sims like this. So
yeah,
I would say he knows what he's talking about. But we do have a question from the chat room, and just speaking of that real quick, we are on the Twitch.tv NAVSCAR channel right now. We do have a chat room up, so if you want to drop in there and drop us a line, we'll try to answer it on the air. But the question, Mike, is who do you think's got the most dominant car out there tonight from what we've seen so far?
Well, it's not really about car dominance here because we're all running the same thing, but I think there's definitely some guys who know how to read the air and how to use the draft, and Dustin's been back and forth up there a lot. I've seen him consistently within the top 4, top 5. I like his chances tonight, but the way that Butch was kind of running around the outside was pretty strong as well. But I think it's key on who you get behind you. I think that can really determine on whether you're going to be quick, whether you're going to be able to race to the front. You really got to find a good dance partner, so to speak, to work together.
Yeah, I think the 29's been pretty strong, but one that's kind of surprised me is Butch Frazier, as we again see him currently in 4th, leading that high line. He's had a strong car all night, and as he's looks like he's getting ready to push the 29 here.
Yeah, that could work out to Dustin's advantage here. We'll see if Busch pushes really hard. We've already had one car blow up, so all these guys are going to be aware of that. That we had a car blow up, so they're going to kind of step back and maybe save it to a little bit later. Still got 44 laps to go, so you still got to take care of your stuff. And you can get back on the lead lap when you blow up early, but if it happens late in the race, then it's going to be harder to recover from. But Dustin got a little bit twitchy there, and a little bit of contact between him and the 555 there.
Yeah, and I'm seeing some damage on the inside on the 29. That hopefully that's nothing major, and but if we stay green here, he's not going to have time to fix that under caution, as we're starting to see some of these other cars go around him.
Oh yeah, that inside that car is definitely hurt. We're looking on it on the big screen right now, and that's going to hurt him outside of the draft. He might be able to hang out in the draft and be okay. But as soon as he won't be able to run the outside, leading the race. He's not going to be able to keep quick times here. But you know what? He's still got a quick repair probably. So next pit stop when he gets his gas, which we'll have one more, at least one more, he'll get it repaired.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but the one thing I've noticed since the restart is we see a lot of people moving around, and normally these guys are pretty steady holding their lines. We've seen the low line stay in the low lane, and the high line stay in that middle lane. But right now, I'm just seeing cars kind of doing a lot of juking, which I'm wondering if they're looking for position, or they're just trying to keep it cool, or if the line is actually starting to check up a little bit. Well, I see Nate LaFleur go way to the high line there, cut off James Skelton.
I was going to say, as we get to the end of the race here, things are going to pick up a lot quicker, and people are going to get more aggressive as the 913 kind of gets stuck in the middle there.
And I just noticed we got Jacking Her Down in the chat room right now, and Jacking Her Down, Calvin Allison, he's not out there this evening. I think Dustin is running his car this evening. Isn't that what you had heard as well?
I know he talked about representing for him for sure. Yeah.
Well, I bet Calvin wishes he was out there right now. Maybe not in this pack.
Yeah, it's getting pretty dicey right now.
And I'm seeing David Howard Jr. just in front of these guys. What sequence is he in here?
He had pulled off the track a couple laps ago. I don't know why he had done that. I don't know if things got a little hairy. He just wanted to get out of the way, but he had pulled off the track and kind of let the pack come back here. So I'm not sure what he was doing. You might want to take a look and just see if he came into the pits or something.
Yeah, he's going to go a lap down here. He will be. Well, I'm not sure if he's going to be the first car lap down, but. Oh, and we got cars going off. I believe that was the 29 again. So do we know what caused that one?
Yeah, the 955 got up into here. Let me see if I can take another look and grab the drivers' names here. Yeah, the 955 got up into the 967. Yeah, just got up into him, turned him sideways, and Dustin, he's just not lucky when it comes to this stuff, and it happened right in front of him.
Yeah, and I don't know if the 29's got any more quick repairs in there. I think, how many are we running this evening, Mike?
We are running 2. I know he's definitely
so he might have one more.
He might have one more. We'll have to see here.
So I think with that caution, we're seeing a few cars get caught a lap down. Is that what you're seeing as well?
Yeah, I do show Nate LaFleur, James Skelton, Jordan Beck, and David Howard Jr. all 1 lap down. We'll have to see how these guys, collect the pace car and see how things get sorted out. Moment of truth here from the 29. We're going to see if he bounces back and gets his repair. Does miss his box there, and the car does bounce back. So he's got that quick repair. That's probably his last one.
It's his last one, so he's not out. That's good to see. I think it's gonna. I don't know why. I'm positive we have not seen the last caution. I still don't think we've seen the big one, and I'm not sure where I want to put that car with 38 laps to go. I think I'm just gonna hang out in the back for a little while.
I agree, man. I think. With 38 to go, man, we still have one more pit stop. I'm happy with letting these guys duke it out in front. I want to be in a position where I can avoid or slow down when we do see the wreck happen.
Yes, I would agree. So how's those point standings? How are they looking?
Well, who knows what they look like now, but we'll recap where we're at before this race. So let's go over this real quick. Tied for first, we got John Fursing Jr., David Howard Jr., Nate LaFleur, all tied for first. 4th place, James Skelton. 5th place, with that bad finish we already talked about, Joshua Buckley. Then we got Keith Haney, Kevin O'Brien, and Jonas Henkins rounding out all the chase drivers today. And then leading the second pack of racers, we got 1st place Jeremy Patterson with 281 points. 2nd place, we got Ricky Goodman with 270 points there. So about 11 points gapping, 1st and 2nd for those non-chase drivers. But it's really anybody's race for both positions. We'll have to see how it plays out. We got 2 more races to go.
Yeah, and while you were showing that, it looked like the group with Buckley, Fursing Jr., and I believe maybe Nate LaFleur all dived in there to pit road to top it off here. So some fuel strategy going on.
I think at this point they'll probably all be good on one more stop, but they will have to do one more. But the more fuel you get in it now, the less fuel you got to put at it on that last stop. So save some time on pit road.
So your driver, Ricky Goodman, has been able to keep that car clean pretty much all evening.
Yeah, I told you, man. He puts himself in good positions most of the time. He's a smart driver. He definitely gives people room. And hey, man, I'm not going to rule him out yet. I think he's definitely got a good shot at this win. Where's your driver at, buddy?
He is currently in 17th position. I do believe he got his lap back, so I think he's going to be in a good spot. I don't think he was collected in that last wreck. He was close to it. I think it occurred right in front of him, and he was able to avoid it. So, David Howard Jr. in that 907, he's been able to rebound, if you will. I went back on the replay. I still didn't really get to see what caused him to be that far back. We seen him 47 seconds back and then be overtaken by the field there. It wasn't real clear to me as to what was causing that here. So,
well, he is on the lead lap. He's ahead of the leader. So, as soon as those caution lights go off, probably next time by, he's going to get the wave around and be able to drive all the way back up to the lead pack and get back on the lead lap. As you can see right now, he drives by that pace car and he's going to motor on back and work his way up. And hey, man, as long as you're on the lead lap, it's anybody's race.
Yeah, there's nothing more frustrating, honestly. I mean, we've all dealt with it being a lap down. It's just, you're waiting for the stars to align. You're pretty much waiting for something bad to happen to someone else and hope you're not caught up in it. Being on the lead lap obviously brings, you can put that off to the side and you can focus on the racing again. So.
36 laps to go. You think it's time to be aggressive, time to make some moves? Or are you still going to kind of, play things kind of cautious here?
To be honest with you, I want to be aggressive, and I'll tell you the reason why. I like short pitting or pitting right in the window.
Right at your window, yep.
Yeah, I don't like, unless I'm traveling with a good group of guys that we're all in together in the strategy that we're doing. I want a short pit, or I want to pit on my window sequence there of pitting and be able to get back out there. I think too many times guys will try to stretch it that extra lap, and as a result find themselves just behind the lead pack as they come around. It never really seems to pan out for me, but it might be just me.
I agree. I think with if we see guys come in, well, I'll explain my theory in a minute here. As we get back going green, let's see how these guys handle into turn one.
Yeah, and David Howard Jr.'s got a head of steam coming into one. He's he's finding himself on the high line with a lot of speed, able to pass a lot of the cars from the beginning. That was a kind of an interesting move. Is he right there in the top 5,
yeah,
6?
Yeah, he just used that head of steam he had to kind of roll around the field, and man, he just drove up the field. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's interesting because now we see the 29 and the 555 of Butch Frazier hooking up together. Obviously, that quick repair doesn't bother Dustin Phillips at all, because Dustin is on the gas and all over the bumper of Butch Frazier there to get to the lead in front of Keith Haney.
So here's my theory with pitting, right on your bubble. I think, unless I'm mistaken, I think you can get on pit road, fill up your tank, and get off pit road and still be just barely ahead of the leader. I don't think he puts you a lap down easily. I can't recall. Maybe he does put you a lap down, but if a caution comes out and you're ahead of the leader, then you don't have to come in again, and that cycles you up to the front. And even
Yeah,
if,
absolutely.
even if the caution does come out and you're behind the leader, you still get the wave around when he comes into pit for himself. So I definitely think it's an okay strategy.
But you would agree that's the happy path that assumes nothing. You don't miss your pit box. You
Yeah.
don't have traffic that you have to deal with on pit road.
Well, it's easy to assume the opposite. Like at Pocono, man, this weekend we had 7 cautions, I think, in the first half of the race. Crazy amount. And everybody pits for that last pit stop, and they all figure, hey, we're gonna get 5, 10 more caution laps. So I'm gonna short pit, and that just led to a whole bunch of people running out because there was no caution. So you really got to flip the dice, and you got to decide what's more important. You come in early and try and you bet on a caution, or are you going to stay out just to make sure you're safe?
Yeah, I definitely hear you. It's I think you can just roll the dice, to be honest with you. I think it could go either way at any given scenario there. So, but as we're talking, we see Josh Buckley in that low line take that second group of cars and pull onto the back bumper of David Howard Jr. And looks like the low line's all caught up, but again, we're starting to see them move around.
Now that these guys are pretty much in line, though, I think we're going to wait here. I don't think we're going to see these guys really push the issue until that last caution.
And how about Dale Albright, right behind the 29? He's been, where'd he come from?
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a different paint scheme this week. I'm not used to seeing him running this paint scheme, but yeah, he's always around, man. He's one of those guys that kind of just shows up, rides along, and keeps his nose clean, but he can be there in the end.
And we got Kevin O'Brien up there in the 994 as well in that high line, pushing Ricky Goodman. Kevin, our Australian driver, looks like he's having a good run this evening. He's kind of holding off, and that's kind of his style. I've talked to him, just candidly in different races before, and everybody thinks he's being considerate. And, go ahead and go by, and then next thing you know, 15 laps to go, there's Kevin O'Brien. It's kind of interesting.
I like his paint scheme. He's got that Pro Series Chase for the Cup logo right there on the hood. He is part of that chase race here, so it's making it easy for these viewers to tell that he's racing for the money.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got the big NAVSCAR logo on there and Red Light Racing logos on there representing. So it's a pretty cool car he's got there, actually. Race for the Cup, or was it Chase for the Cup?
Yep.
Is what he's got in the hood? Real
yeah,
nice.
I gave that logo out to all our chase drivers, decided if they wanted to use it, they could, and he took that thing and put it right on the hood.
Yeah, it looks good. So, Mike, you're getting you've had a couple comments about your gyro cam there.
Whoa, we got a wreck as they go around. Sorry to interrupt you there. That's the big one. No doubt about it. Looks like a lot of the field has been collected in that one. As Rick takes a little bit of an extra beating there as Skeleton backs it up.
You know who made it through that, though? It was the 29.
It's good to see him make it through one.
Oh, and David Howard Jr. gets door slammed. Just trying to avoid it, stay low, and he just gets door slammed there. I can't wait to get a couple different shots of that one. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing, going low. Spotter's telling him to go low. Probably thinks he's out of the mess, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he gets door slammed.
What driver was that?
David Howard Jr.
Let's see if we can take a look and ride with him. Now he's running up front. He's running behind these guys. We can see Ricky just kind of gets turned around, some aggressive pushing. Oh, they all wreck in front of him. He's hard on those brakes, and Yeah, you're right. It looks like he's going to make it through, and then boom. Just... Oh.
Nothing but side of the car.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You think you're like, oh man, I made it through, and then maybe not.
So I don't know about you, but sometimes when events like this happen, you kind of got an even keel mindset. You know, your temper's low, you're calm, you got some zen, if you will, and then this happens. And now, with what, 28 laps to go?
28 laps to go.
I'm not holding back anymore.
Nope. And I think this is actually an interesting scenario here. We got 28 laps to go. We could see drivers come in. You know, we'll probably see drivers top up at the end of this caution here. If we get another caution, extend our pit window from our fuel run from 21 laps to 25 laps. You know, we could see guys go to the end from here. So I think you'll see some guys coming in and just pack that sucker full of fuel.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm kind of curious too. Oh, never mind. I lost my train of thought there as I was checking something else out.
All right, what were you commenting on before that incident came out?
I don't even remember.
Something about a chat window. I don't have the chat window up, so.
Oh, I was saying you were getting rave reviews for your gyro cam. It was a lot of people were happy with that, being able to check it out, especially those guys running the high line, getting close to the wall. It really kind of puts things into perspective there as to what they're seeing, what they're feeling in the car.
Yeah, I've been messing around with these with this controller here and kind of playing some cameraman, zooming around, and I know you usually do that, and it looks like a lot of fun, so I thought I would give it a shot.
It is. It's a little bit addicting. You almost want to stay in it and, you know, peek in on your favorite driver or whatever the case might be. So, you know, the question, it's not really a question, but it sounds like got some comments in the chat room about the 4 not being happy about being turned like that. I don't know. I'm gonna take a jump up there and see if I can't talk to Ricky and see what his thoughts were on it.
Yeah, go for it. I always love hearing the feedback of the racers as they're in the race. While he's away, I just want to remind all our viewers, once again, check out our website, NAVSCAR.com. You know, check out what we're about here. We got a lot of information about the series we run and what our mindset is. And while you're at it, check out our sister league, RedLightLeague.com. A lot of great guys. You know, we'll have a lot of fun, and like we were saying earlier in the race, it can definitely be a little bit passionate. Guys can get a little bit heated, but we all come back tomorrow with a smile on our face, and you know, we always look forward to racing with these guys. Looks like we got one of our in-car reporters, Ricky Goodman, has decided to join us in the booth.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Not too bad. Looked like you were getting pushed pretty hard there, and maybe just got pushed around, yeah?
Yeah, we were making our move towards the front and just didn't line up properly and just got turned, but still lots of laps to go, so I expect to be back up at the front shortly.
Yeah, it looks like you got your quick repair. Your car's looking real good there, that Red Bull Racing number 4 car. Looks fine. Are you going to come in and top up again? I know we're kind of at 26 laps to go. I figure we might see some guys kind of pack the fuel in there and hope for another caution.
Yeah, I'm going to be coming in right now and just... I don't think it's going to be enough, but hey, it doesn't hurt. I'm already at the back of the pack, so...
Yeah, you never know. Yeah. You get some cautions. You could extend those laps. Go ahead, Jamie.
Oh, I was just going to say, you know, you've won before at the Super Speedway with Monza. You know, if you're able to get that 4 up front, Red Bull Chevrolet up front, you know, obviously I don't expect you to hold back. Is that kind of your thoughts about getting to the front of the pack?
Yeah, basically we have nothing to lose at this point, just looking for another win this season, so we're going to do whatever we can to get back to the front.
Well, we'll let you get that car back on the track, get it in line. We'll be going green here a couple times by, so good luck, man. You got 26 laps to go. Let's bring it home. And by the way, you're my pick, so don't disappoint.
Way to put the pressure on.
I know, right? I gotta let you go with that.
All right, thanks.
All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. All right, thanks. Oh, it's good to hear from Ricky. It looked like he took it in stride.
Yeah, I would say so. You know, he knows that these things are going to happen out here. All these guys do. You know, you've got the drivers that really don't care for this race because of, you know, being caught up in somebody else's incident. But it comes with driving these. It'll be interesting as we review the quick repairs next year to see what that looks like, if it changes the landscape at all. You know, I think you've talked about it before, where we want to be at a point where we're not using quick repairs, or maybe just down to one. You know, it really forces the drivers to be mindful of their driving, and it'll prove to be interesting.
Yeah, you know, if you get enough practice time on this track, it's a huge track. There's no reason why we can't run bumper to bumper 2 wide, even 3 wide. So it's about managing your expectations and being courteous and waiting until the right time to make a move. And I think you're right. I think if we limit those quick repairs, I think these guys might change their mindset a little bit. But hey, this is really entertaining. I love seeing these guys race, and as we go back to green here.
Yeah, Jonas Hampkins takes us to the green. Down in the low line. A lot of pushing on that high line, trying to get out front, as we see David Howard Jr. really pushing on the back door of the 987 of Keith Haney there.
Yeah, it's the best time to make a move is during these restarts. You know, you kind of are coming up to speed. So if you can come up to speed just a little bit quicker than the inside line, you can definitely make some moves. But looks like these guys are pretty head and head. Both lines are moving pretty well, as we got some cars jumping back and forth, trying to figure out which line they want to go with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's interesting because we have John Pershing Jr. down in that lower line right behind Jonas. But his teammates are all on the higher line there.
Yeah, that is interesting. They probably didn't play it that way. I think they just kind of, you know, it's kind of how the dice roll and how things end up, and you know, you kind of got to work with who's in front of you. Sometimes you can't really choose. It always scares me when we got 4 cars bumper to bumper in the corners like that. It's, you know, we always say pushing is really key here, but pushing really hard in the corners is just a recipe for disaster. And if one of those cars, you know, in the middle of that group just lets off the gas, and you know, 2 cars behind them are pushing them, they're all coming around.
Yeah, and you know, as they're starting to push a little bit here, and Keith Haney has dropped to that lower line, that caused the that lower line to check up a little bit. You've seen them kind of get into each other a little bit. You know, nothing major, but enough to disrupt it. As we see David Howard Jr. heading on that high line with 2 cars behind him, trying to make that high line work, and he is definitely driving up to the front with Josh Buckley pushing hard, trying to get those 2 cars up front in front of Keith Haney and Jonas Hankins.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. They're going to want to all get up front there, but you know, the way the inside line is kind of moving and pushing, it might be hard to get the entire group up, as David kind of just drops down and leaves the O2, you know, out there on his own, but he's still got Nate behind him, so they could still make something work here.
Yeah, he's got Nate behind him, and John Pershing Jr. actually moves up the track, so now you got 3 teammates running single file. I think that outside is going to move, and plus the 29 is looking a little bit on the aggressive side. I think he's got a good run with those 3 cars in front of him, and it's going to get interesting. I have a feeling we're going to see this outside line.
Now we're right on that pit window now. We got 22 laps to go right here, 21 laps as we cross the start-finish next time by. It'll be interesting to see what these guys do, if anyone's going to decide to come in and top of now, or if they're going to play it out and see what happens. We still might get another caution. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And the chat room is kind of heating up. I mean, it's kind of interesting. You know, it looks like some of these drivers got some pretty good fans out there. We got one going for David Howard Jr., I believe, and the other one going for Dustin Phillips in the 29. So it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. Yeah,
David's always got quite a bit of a fan following here. It's always good to see these, you know, his friends and family come out and watch these races. I know he enjoys the support. I see him on Facebook commenting on it all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. As that high line, they're making it work, and David's actually got his hands full trying to. He's not blocking that high line. Obviously, you know, he can't really per se right now as the way that they're running. But we don't see him trying to manage both lines. He seems to be pretty dedicated to that lower line right now.
Yeah, we definitely, in the real world scenarios, you know, when you watch Junior up front as an example, he manages both lines, but he'll get away from a line. You know, he'll get 2 to 3 car lengths ahead of a line and jump back and forth, but that never happens here, just the way that the drafting dynamics work. These cars typically stay locked to each other all the way around.
Yeah, I don't think anybody in our field has Hendrick horsepower underneath their hood.
Yeah, right?
And then we also, I'm looking at the chat room, we've obviously got some fans that are not fans of David's. So.
Nice.
Just like real NASCAR, we got favorites out there, so good to see. James Skelton kind of making it a little interesting. He's kind of got the 955 of James Haney. He's got him pressed to the outside there, but looks like they're going to make it work as the group really starts to tighten up. It looks like Dustin Phillips is also, he's gone from the high line down to the low line, looking for whatever one's moving forward the best. And he's definitely checking out that low line as Josh Buckley moves down to the low line as well. So the drivers must be thinking that the low line's where to be here in the closing laps, going down to the last 10.
You mentioned James Skelton. He's back on the lead lap. It's good to see him fighting here. He could be fighting for a win as these guys are approaching. Looks like a couple cars did come in and take gas. It looks like these leaders are going to catch them here entering turn 3 and 4. We'll see how these guys get by these group of 2 cars that are a little bit slower. We got a pack coming up on them, so.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Lap traffic always gets interesting, but they're moving to the high side, so I think we're going to be clear. But I think you're going to catch him in the corner, which could prove to be interesting. 3 wide going into the corner.
Looks like they all get around him pretty well. Hopefully they can just get a hold of that draft and stay with the group.
Yeah, I would agree. It's but David Howard Jr.'s got the 2 of Buckley in front of him now, and it's going to be interesting because second place isn't a bad place to be running here at Talladega. It almost kind of puts you in the catbird seat.
Yeah, I could argue both scenarios. Yeah, I used to love being second place because I used to feel like I could drive around a first place car. I would do that by hanging back a little bit, creating a bit of a gap, so you got a run coming off of turn 4, and especially at Talladega, you get a run coming off turn 4. You really feel like you could drive around a car. But as a leader, being out front, like it's tough to get around, especially when you got 2 strong cars behind you. So you can make good arguments for both positions.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can see David's really outside of Nate, trying to keep that radiator cool. You got to be really careful when you push with only half your car lined up with the car in front of you. It'd be really easy to turn him around, but he does a good job there. He's trying to manage his temps, and you'll probably see David do the same thing down low.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, I just want to call something out right now. We had some conversations going on there in the Twitch room. We try to keep it PG, if you will. And we don't normally ban people, but I felt it was necessary during this time. So just know that we do actively monitor that during the race. It is our primary communication with the people that are following it. So just wanted to give a little context to those that were in the chat room. So.
Yeah, definitely. With you never know what kind of people you're going to see in those chat rooms. We do mind. Ask these guys, keep it clean, man. Family show all around. We ask our drivers to keep it clean, so Same thing from our spectators. 26 cars being put a lap down. Both of these cars looks like they came in a pit as well. They keep it high, same deal as before. Looks like everyone's going to get around them pretty good. 987 just kind of steps out there. He looks like he's going to try and get a run around David Howard Jr. in the 907.
Yeah, and it's getting interesting here. How many laps are you showing, Mike? 14 to go?
14 to go, 13 to go this time by. Now we're going to see guys come in and pit. I don't think they're going to be, they're definitely not going to be able to go the entire way if we don't get a caution.
So David goes to the high line. He's got some help out there from Nate LaFleur and John Pershing. I think we're going to see that high line definitely come back here as we get to the later laps. But Josh Buckley in that lower line is all over the back of Keith Haney. I don't think that low line, I don't think they're working as good as maybe they ought to at this point.
Well, I think you got to kind of just stay as fast as you can be. You don't need to push it really hard at this point. You want to keep that engine cool. You don't want to start pushing it too early. You will blow up in a matter of laps here, and with 13 to go, you still got to remember, take care of your stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm still monitoring that 29 as he's back there. It doesn't look like he's really got somebody to run with. I was kind of expecting Butch Frazier to be in the picture at this point with him, with Butch as having as strong as car as he's had. But right now, Dustin's probably going to have to hook up with somebody that he normally doesn't run with, but we'll see how that pans out.
He could be thinking about getting ready to pit too as well. You want to kind of make sure you have a clean run in and a clean run off, so you don't really want to be stuck on the high side when you decide you have to come out and pit. Jamie, I got to step away for 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll take over broadcasting duties, and we'll go ahead and talk a bunch of mad smack about Mike while he's gone. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so a lot of close action up there at the front. David Howard Jr. leading that inside line. John Pershing Jr. and Nate LaFleur on the outside. Those two, they work together almost consistently. I'm really surprised if we don't see the two try to get it up there if he can to that higher line. They did have a three-car tandem working, but Josh seemed to think that the lower line was working a little bit better. It was going to be more advantageous to him. So we'll see how that pans out. I don't know if the two can get up there in time to make a difference. Going around lap traffic here. Everybody makes it by.
Good to see that we haven't
the
wrecked since I've
line's
been gone.
a little bit spread out, to be quite honest with you. A little bit more than my liking. I'd like to see him a little bit closer, but I think what we're getting ready to see is them keep their engines cool, getting ready for these last couple laps, which usually tends to lead to the big one as everybody's running bumper to bumper, and you can only do that for so long, so it'll be interesting to see.
So when are we going to see these guys pit?
I don't know. I think if I remember right, the 981 of Nate LaFleur and Josh Buckley and John Pershing Jr., they came in twice under caution to fill up. So I'm not sure how confident they're feeling about their fuel run here. I'm kind of wondering if they're not going to gamble and see if they can make it to the end.
I think, when did we take the green? We took the green with like 25 to go, 26 to go, didn't we?
I don't know. I can barely remember what I did this afternoon.
Yeah.
So
I don't think any of these guys are going to make it unless they pit already. I think we're going to see everybody jump in probably within the next 3 to 5 laps. That's my guess.
Yeah, and even though I talked about them going in twice to get fuel, with them being where they're at in the point standings, I'm not sure we're going to see them gamble.
No.
Maybe they will. I don't know. It's hard to say.
And that's why I think, just talking about Pocono again, Kyle Busch, man, he didn't need a win. And I'm surprised to see him gamble. He just needed points to get in the top 30, and if he finishes second, third place by stretching the gas, he'd be in the top 30. So seeing him gamble like that when he didn't have to just seems surprising to me, and that situation would be surprising here as well.
Yeah, can we get an in-car of Keith Haney there right behind our leader? I'm curious as to what that view is and how much he's or how close he's to the.
He's definitely got a good gap. He's not on him, and it doesn't seem like he's pushing hard. We got his in-car in here. Now we can listen to him play with the throttle, but I don't even think he's full throttle, to be honest. Doesn't sound like he's full throttle. He's not approaching that 907 car there, as he really backs off the throttle there as we enter the corner. And you can see the outside line is starting to move.
Yeah, absolutely, and it looks like the 29 of Phillips is he's moved up to the front.
We got those two cars. They come into pit. These two pit together, so this should be. They get in cleanly, and we got a group of a couple cars. Looks like 4 or 5 cars here. So let's see if they can have a clean stop.
I'm assuming no tires, but it always gets interesting because when these guys aren't taking tires, when they get back on the gas, even after their pit stop, the tires are slick. And we've seen guys go around, so they got to get back out there and get back up to speed without wrecking.
Yeah, you can definitely spin this car out pretty easily on the shoulder with worn tires. These guys are concentrating on just having a clean lap here.
And I believe we're seeing another set of pit stops here by the 29 and of Dustin Phillips and the 986 of James Skelton. So everybody's coming for fuel. Really spreads out the field. The last thing we want to see here is a caution. I'm hoping that we're going to finish under green. So
6 laps to go, 5 as we cross the finish line this time by.
So I'm showing Jonas Hankins as our leader here. He has not come in, and I don't believe he's on a different pit schedule than everybody else. But oh yeah, and he comes in. Looks like comes in now. So the leader's in.
Leader's in. I have Dustin in second place, but he's going to be gobbled up here as the pack comes up. But he might not be. Looks like he's got a good run with Jeremy Patterson here. If these guys can hook up and just start putting the motor down, Dustin could finish this one with 5 to go.
Yeah, this could be big for the 29. The last thing he wants to see is a yellow flag, but I think how many laps do we do under caution, Mike?
Oh, I don't remember.
I think it's 2 or 3, so he's got to get within that window.
The problem is as he goes underneath goes underneath Jeremy. Jeremy has no, it looks like he kind of just pulled aside there. I'm not sure if I like that or not, but Jeremy's not really obligated to run hard with him, and he's not there, and that's going to just have the leaders suck up to him.
Yeah, as we see Nate LaFleur, Josh Buckley, and John Frisching Jr. all getting way too close. I think that I'm not sure if I like that a whole lot either. We see Phillips holding his line as gets a little crazy. Dustin does what he needs to do to hold that line and stay with the pack, and they do get a little crazy, but David Howard Jr. back out to the front as a result. Yeah, I know Patterson was a lap down, so maybe he just felt that, being a lap down, he wasn't in the fight. But
doing that, he just kind of slowed Dustin down almost to a stop there. So, it is what it is. He's not obligated to run with him. He doesn't have to push him. But, it's a tough break for Dustin.
Well, Dustin's not out of this either. He's got, he's sitting currently in 4th place, and He's if he can get a little push here from Keith Haney, him and Keith Haney were working well together there for a while back, so maybe they can make that work. I think if they're going to do something, they need to do it now and get that outside line working.
Dustin was thinking about it there, but
yeah, he lost his shot to do it though, but maybe not. Phillips to the outside. Keith Haney pushing him. He's out on the door of the 2. It's definitely getting interesting as LaFleur goes to the lead. Phillips running second. Howard Jr. running third. Dustin's definitely going to press the issue, getting nice and close to that outside door, taking the draft off those guys, able to maintain the position with 2 cars on the outside. They need a little bit more help out there as we see some of the cars think about it, but it looks like the outside line's going to get a little help here.
yeah, I'm not sure if 2 cars can do it. Dustin's doing a great job of keeping these guys pinned on that yellow line. You got to be really careful as the 907 kind of just drifts up in front of him there. That was a pretty close call.
Nice bump by the 29 on the 907. Howard Jr. to the lead. I don't see Dustin really trying to break out. He's got to push Howard Jr. at least to the very end.
Yeah, what he's got to hope for is that the 987 follows him, that he can push the 907 and 907 will drop down, which will allow the 29 to drive by the outside. Last lap here. Let's see what happens. It's going to be anyone's game.
And I kind of like where Howard Jr. and Phillips are sitting. You know, they're running that high line. And here at Talladega, that start-finish line is a little bit further down than it is at Daytona, and they might be able to carry that speed down the front stretch for the win, as we see Howard Jr. just peeking in front of Nate LaFleur down the backstretch.
I think they started that a little too early. Oh, as the 907 hangs him out there, and
oh no,
that's going to end Dustin's run right there. He's not going to have much shot coming off. But we might see Nate jump out.
Yeah, it's awfully close, but Phillips actually might make this work if he can get it. Howard Jr. takes him down, front stretch, start-finish line coming up. Howard Jr. pulls it off?
Yeah, I'd have to take a look at the replay here. I think he did.
Yes, I think he did too.
Looks like he did. David Howard Jr. finished his first place. We got second place going to Nate LaFleur and a respectable third place for Dustin Phillips. I think David dropping down in front of Nate kind of helped him slow down that second line. Dustin was able to hold on to a third place finish.
Yeah, 5/100ths of a second there. Is that what you're seeing?
I'm don't have the times up, but it was super close.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was an outstanding win. I picked the driver. Woo!
You did pick the driver. Came back from being at least one lap down for the win. Let's see if we can pull him down here as he burns it up. David, it's Jamie and Mike in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, 10-4. I got you, bud.
Wow, what a crazy race, man. I swear at one point you were at least one, if not 2 laps down. You were working your way back, front, back. Crazy finish there. Dustin pushed you up front. Tell us about the race.
Yeah, that was a crazy race, man. At one point of the race, I was kind of throwing myself away and just hung in there and wound up falling my way, man. And I can't believe it, man. I'm pretty excited to get this win.
Yeah, congratulations on the win. Just so you know, I chose you tonight, David. I was talking about you pretty much all night long. I think you had a pretty dominant car out there. I know you had a little concerns going in. Normally, Tim Lewis, for example, your teammate, hasn't been in some of the previous races with you. But I know when we talked to you last time, you were hoping you'd get some support in that regard. But great race overall. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually got to go back on what I said last week, man. The guys over at WOW, they help us out a lot. You know, we're not officially teammates, but they are good friends of ours. And so this race, we knew the bigger pack was going to be faster, you know, than a smaller pack. So we just all hung out together, pitted together, and man, last time we did it, one of us wound up in victory lane, and we did it again this week, and one of us wound up in victory lane. So that's pretty cool.
What did you think about Dustin? You know, Dustin was being pushed around the outside there, and you kind of just drifted up and got in front of that line, and he continued to push you up around Nate. Would you think? Were you surprised when he pushed you to the lead?
Yeah, actually, I am, man. Me and Dustin, you know, him being the owner of this league, kind of had it out at Monza, and we've talked it over since. So I was kind of surprised, but man, I got to thank him also, man. If it wasn't for him, you know, pushing me down, because Nate definitely didn't want to give up the win. You know, that's one thing. You know, we all race together, co-opetition.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, I knew Nate wanted it more than anything. So that's why, you know, and I wanted it too. That's why I had to jerk it down in front of him. So thanks to all those guys, man. I'm pretty excited. My wife and daughter are in here. They're pretty excited. They watch. So pretty awesome, man. Pretty good way to start the chase, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely, and we definitely had you had some support in the chat room and the Twitch channel. We we seen some of the viewers rooting for their favorite drivers. Obviously, you were being rooted for out there, so good feeling all around. So great momentum going into next week. You think you're going to take this momentum and make something of it and keep the drive to the chase alive, or what?
Man, I certainly hope so. You know, it ought to be fun. I'm pretty pumped. I'm pretty excited to go into next week and see if we still got the hot hand.
Well, congratulations again, man. Thanks for coming out, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, thanks a lot, guys. I just want to send thanks out to all those fans you guys talk about. You know, I got quite a few that follow me throughout this sim racing deal. I feel pretty lucky as a sim racer to have a lot of people that invest their time into watching me sim race. So thanks to all those guys, and thank you guys for all you guys do. Thanks.
10-4. All right, let's bring down our second place finisher, Nate LaFleur, here, and see what he has to say. Nate, Mike, and Jamie in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Wow, what a crazy finish, man! Looked like you were in good position there with 3 to go, leading the pack, and you know, David just decided to step out, get pushed around you, and it came down to the wire there on that finish. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, you know, I got delivered by one of the crew members, and you know, on lap 5 or 6, and went 2 laps down, and was trying to hang on with some of the guys that weren't running in the lead pack. You know, Dale, Will, they were all helping me out real good, just hanging in as best as I could. And then once those cautions started coming out, luck was definitely on my side, and I started getting the first caution I took a wave by, and then on that restart, I got into the lucky dog position, and then the next caution came out. I went around and got the lucky dog, and was lucky enough to be able to fight my way to the front with help of my teammates, and yeah, got my way back up to the front. And at the end of that race was definitely pretty hairy. I'm sure you guys were watching it. It was definitely some full contact racing right there.
So,
Yep.
was there any team orders tonight? I'm curious because you know between you and Josh Buckley and John Fershing Jr., you guys were in a 3-car tandem there for quite a few times throughout the race. So I was just kind of curious if there were any team orders there trying to, and you guys are all in competing in the chase here. So
Oh yeah, me, my dad, Josh, David, Tim, Jeremy, we were all working together, trying to do the best we could to stay out in front of some of these guys. There was definitely some major team calls going on in our channel. We were definitely making sure we all got maximum points. We all made sure we led a lap if we could, and we were definitely gunning to steal the most bonus points that we possibly could from everyone this evening, and try to keep this wild racing team and our buddies up in the front there. So yeah, there was definitely some huge communicating going on.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the second place finish, and we'll see you next week, bud.
All right, sounds good. See you then.
All right, let's see if we can get Dustin Phillips down for third place. Dustin, buddy, it's Mike and Jamie in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey guys, I got a copy.
Man, crazy finish there. 5 to go or 6, 7 to go. Looked like you had it, possibly wrapped up. You had a big gap. Unfortunately, it looked like you were just kind of stuck with Jeremy Patterson and him being a lap down. I guess he decided he wasn't willing to push you to the victory, and they kind of swallowed you up there.
Yeah, we played the strategy right tonight. I'm proud of this whole Hooligans team, man. Yeti Coolers came on board tonight, and Paul was really fast, man, and we played the strategy right. We knew we had a couple laps on them there, and had a pretty good sizable lead, and I felt good about it. And I got pushing Jeremy there out of the pits. Knew he was a lap down, and knew I'd be all right. And then maybe some team orders came over, and I don't know really what happened, but he pulled high, and I knew I was a sitting duck, so I knew it was going to be a hard race with no help up there. So good thing David and Nate, they wanted to, out there at the end, wanted to jump up and give me a little bit of help and help me stick around. So tough battle, man. Hate to lose one like that, but them guys, it was an awesome race up front all night. Everybody raced really clean. Couple wrecks, but everything was pretty clean. So it was definitely a fun night.
Yeah, you looked, just from my view, man, you were up top five car most of the night, and you were definitely, making some pretty aggressive moves and driving that sucker all the way around the track. So I thought it was really good to see you down there. I know you love these super speedways. I enjoy them as well. And hey, man, you got to be happy with that third place finish. And hey, if you had the right car behind you, you probably could have drove around both of them at the end there. So you got to be happy with that.
Yeah, man. Like I said, it's tough to lose them like that. But David Howard and Nate, they drove a good race, and them guys. I definitely didn't want to mess up any championship battles there, but I was definitely not going to give them any slack. So I'm here to race and win. So just hate to lose one like that. But David did a good job there at the end, making the right moves to the top. He done the exact same thing I would have done. So congrats to him, and Nate ran a good race. Josh Buckley, he was up there, and I want to thank Keith Haney for that push right there at the end, even give me a chance to stay up there. So like I said, I appreciate everybody for a clean race tonight.
Yeah, did you get a little bit nervous though? We seen you. I believe you used 2 resets this race, didn't you?
Yeah, I got caught up in 2 wrecks that were right in front of me pretty early before lap 60. So that was a tough break. Really wasn't worried much about it because, this was kind of like a one-race deal, actually in Calvin Allison's car tonight. So kind of one-race deal. We'll have to see if we'll be there next week at Auto Club. But just it was a win or lose type thing. We were going for the win, and that's what we were here for. So unfortunate, didn't come on top with it, but it was definitely a fun night.
Well, good deal. Congratulations on the 3rd place, and we'll catch you next time.
All right, guys, appreciate it.
Well, Jamie, another one's in the books, man. That was a pretty entertaining race. Looking forward to next week. How about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the points are going to be interesting to see how that turns out. I think we've got drivers with long memories, and they don't seem to forget. But I think overall, I think the race went really well. I think Dustin kind of put it into perspective there. I think we've seen a lot of the guys working together, and I'm pretty sure that the guys that were in the top of the points bracket there were happy to get out of here with a real nice finish and to keep them consistent. And Buckley honestly had the night that he was needing to stay competitive with a nice 4th place finish. So.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be crazy 2 races, and I'm looking forward to seeing them here in the next couple weeks.
Absolutely.
Well, with that, we'll sign off. Thanks for all our viewers. We'll see you next Wednesday, same time, 8:30. We'll be broadcasting live. Have a great night, guys.